In today's video, I'm going to share the 4 things you need to really focus on as a new YouTuber to grow your channel regarding SEO. Hey everyone, Alexa here. Welcome to my channel where I help new YouTubers grow on YouTube. Okay, so let's talk about SEO. There are 4 main things as a new YouTuber that I would focus on with regards to SEO. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be terribly researched or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. And if you focus on these 4 things, I think it will help it to take off more quickly. So the first thing is you must have a good topic for your video. And I think this is one of the most important things. So when you create your videos, you want to have your audience in mind and you want to give them what they need, not what you want to talk about. So I would really focus on thinking about who your audience is and the struggles that they're having, the things that are keeping them up at night, those things that are really like they want to change. Like the pain is so great that they would do anything to change that as soon as possible. Not a discomfort that's like a casual pain or, they're just a little uncomfortable. You want to tap into the pain that is extreme enough that they would, if they found your channel, they would gobble up your content and it would help them to feel better sooner. It doesn't need to be an instant fix. A lot of things that people are dealing with that are causing them pain are more like long-term things they need to deal with. But if you could give them some sort of guide or steps to get there faster or to just acknowledge how to get there in general, like maybe they have no idea where to even start and you give them a starting point, that will do a lot more for search engine optimization than anything else because you are filling a need. So if there is a need, you're filling it with your ideas on how to fix that problem, and that will connect you to those people more easily. Because if that need is expressed, then you are providing the value to solve that need. Does it make sense? In other words, if people are in so much pain, they're going to be looking on the internet how to fix that pain. And a lot of times people might have pain that they're not willing to share out in public or let other people know, but they are willing to do their own research online and putting in those keywords that they are using to search for the solution to their problem. So that is something that you want to think about when you are creating your content. What do people need and how can you help them achieve their goals? Number 2 is title. The title of your video needs to be very strong with keywords that relate to the topic that the video is about. So you have this amazing topic that you picked. Then from there, you need to create a title that expresses that topic very clearly in a way that people are searching for it. So you have a solution to their problem and it's called START or something like that. But the acronym START doesn't mean anything to them, right? They've never even heard of START. And START maybe stands for, ways to reach your goals or something that you made up or maybe something that exists. But these people really don't know that they need START. They just know that they need to get out of this bad spot they're in and get to a better place. And they realize that they need to make goals to get there. So instead of using some word like START or an acronym of like START, you would actually use goals. How to reach your goals, not how to use START or not START is the solution or something like that, right? You want to use the words that people are speaking when they are trying to, or speaking or researching when they're trying to find solutions to their problem. So let's say, even if you are trying to help people reach their goals, maybe their problem is they're depressed and they don't realize that they're depressed because they don't have goals. Because they might be searching like, why am I so depressed? Or how can I feel better? Or things like that. So you could have in your title, how to feel better with goals, how to rise out of depression with goals, or something like that. So goals is in there so it attracts the people that are seeking to make goals and to figure out how to do goals better in life or to plan better for goals. And then it also attracts the people that are in the emotion, what they're feeling in that moment. They are struggling with feeling depressed, and they're depressed because they don't have any goals. They're not striving for anything. So life is very boring and life is just mundane, and it's the same thing every day because they don't have goals. They lack focus. So another thing might be how to regain focus out of depression, or how to you could make these titles better, but I'm trying to give you an idea of like what you would want to use keyword wise in your titles. You want to include keywords that are either the emotion that people are experiencing and then how it relates to your topic, goal setting. So from depressed to goal setter, or from rising from depression and reaching my goals, or something like that, so that it is including both of those things. Your purpose of the video, the goals goal making, goal striving, whatever it is, and their emotional experience at that moment, which is causing them pain that they want to get out of. And they might not realize that they need to make goals to get out of that pain. So does that make sense? So they would find your video because it's talking about depression in the title. If they're like, why am I so depressed? Your title will come up in their feed. And then it's also giving a solution to via goals. And a great way to, to research for titles would be vidIQ. You can also use ChatGPT and type in a title and say, could you give me a better title for this? Could you make a title that taps into emotions? Could you make it more urgent? Could you infuse it with curiosity? That's another thing you could do to start to create your titles. The next focus is number 3, thumbnails. With thumbnails, you want to really tap into the emotional side of things. As you have done with the title, the title will have emotion, but it will also have the topic of what you're doing. Whereas the thumbnail is mainly just emotion, and it could show the result. So it could be like showing before depressed, after happy, or something like that, or goals changed my life, or having goals changed my life, and then show, someone being happy from being sad. Or you could say something like depressed no longer, or no longer depressed, something like that, that really taps into what the person is and where they could go after. So when you say something like no longer depressed or finally over depression, that's showing that this video is dealing with depression, but it's also showing you how to get over depression and via these goals. So once they see that thumbnail, they're like, oh, I want to get over depression. Then they see the title, How Goals Saved Me from Depression. Then they'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And then they'll click on it, right? So that's why it's really important to think about tapping into the emotions with the thumbnails. And also whatever you're showing in the thumbnail is also re-emphasizing that emotion, like either the solution to that pain or showing that pain. And then lastly, the 4th thing is description. So in the description of your video, so below your video, you'll have a description. When you upload your video, there's a description spot where you can put in like a paragraph or 2 about a description. I would recommend doing 2 to 3 sentences and packing it full of keywords that relate to the video and also relate again to this emotion or this outcome, the before and after of what the experience is by watching your video. And I would recommend writing it yourself first and then putting it into something like ChatGPT and saying, please rewrite this as a YouTube description for a video, include keywords and make it flow or make it readable or something like that. Because you don't want it to be like super packed with keywords and very awkward to read. You want it to look like it is a normal paragraph talking about your video, but within that paragraph, there are lots of keywords in it so that for SEO, it is optimized for getting your video to the right people. And that's it. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't think it's too hard. I think just keep it basic. And one additional thing you can do, so like as a bonus, when you are uploading your video, there is a section called tags. And this is where you could add in more keywords. You could add in short tail keywords and long tail keywords. A short tail keyword, for example, is simply depression. And then a long tail keyword might be women suffering from depression, or women over 40 with depression, or overcoming depression at 40, overcoming depression as a single mom. So these are all these longer tail keywords are just longer. They have more words, whereas short tail are shorter and they're more to the point. So you can definitely go into your tag section and jam pack it with all the tags that relate to your topic. I wouldn't put anything in there that's too extraneous. Like I wouldn't say, let's say your topic is about goal setting and, overcoming depression with goal setting or something like that. I wouldn't then put in there something like mindfulness just randomly, even though that might be a result of overcoming depression. You are more mindful, you're more peaceful. I wouldn't put that in there. I would focus on the tags that relate to your topic and your channel. So maybe depression, goal setting, self-development, personal growth. Those types of words is what I would put in there rather than things that are outside of your scope, but might be a result of your efforts, if that makes sense. This way, it'll target people that are really looking for things like depression or goal setting or personal development, how to make their lives happier. Okay, so I think that's it. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what you think and see you in the next video.